All right, this is episode 32, Crom the Barbarian Comic Book Update, joined by David Molina, who has his copy of the artist proof for the upcoming release of Crom the Barbarian Collected, Revised Edition 2024. David, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Kurt. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I received the book. I was like, "Holy cow!" I, you know, I thought the cover. I thought something was gonna be lost. Like I thought, like I don't know. For some reason, I was like, but
Dude,
it looks
dude.
exactly like the original. I was like, "Holy
Yeah.
cow, that's badass!"
So let's back up though. Let's back up
Yeah.
because you have to
Okay.
take 99% of the credit here. So the first thing you did when you're going through the process of this is adding the zipatones. So there's an
Yes.
episode. I'll put a link in the description. You can go back because the way you handled your zipatones, being number one. Number
Yeah.
two, you ended up getting yourself a sweet little scanner deal there. So you got one of the
Oh
Epson
yeah.
workforces. So you were
Yeah.
able to give a really high resolution. You even tile scanned it in. I helped you stitch it together. So when you
Yeah.
have that, your art's already 14 by 17, right?
Yes.
Okay, so already at that point, you do that at like 400 DPI, then you shrink
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
down. All of that crispness, not Christmas, but crispness is really going to shine through. So,
Yeah.
and I also have to give it out. The other 5% or 1% of the 99
Yeah.
is Lulu. So this is
Oh,
one
okay.
of the print on
Nice.
demands. This is one of the print on demand companies. I've been using Lulu for quite a while. The other one is Amazon.com. So,
Yeah.
and I'll be
Okay. I
talking
was
more
wondering
about
which one
that
you
as
used
things go.
actually. Yeah.
Yep, I do. I actually do both because yeah, there's just nuances with it, but we'll get into that when we're
Yeah.
getting closer to release date, which we are getting close to today. I
Okay.
am almost 100% certain because you and I are going to be able to go through and you're going to be able to give me feedbacks, ask any questions so I can start collecting that data so I can then make the final version. I'm
Yeah.
thinking of an August 1st release, so that's
Okay.
that's my
Nice.
new as stern and hard date as possible. So, and I feel really good
Okay.
about it because where we're at, this is the 15th of June. That's six
Yes.
weeks. There's a little vacationing going on in July, but I
Hmm.
think that's why I feel a little bit more optimistic about an August 1st because once I take a little bit of
Yeah.
time off and I can kind of really look at and then come back that week before,
There you go.
we'll
Come
be going from
fresh.
there.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
with
Awesome.
that being said, let's get right into it. So
Okay.
you have an artist proof, and just to
Yes.
technically explain what that means, you need to sign your artist proof because what that means is
Ah.
then in the future, I mean, beyond our physical existence in this here earthly realm, somebody comes
Yeah.
across this, they go, "Oh, wow, okay." This is a proof of something, so then there would be another
Hmm.
version of it. So that actually
Ah.
increases the
Okay. Yeah.
value of this copy. Um, I'm
Got it.
going
Oh,
to be
cool.
I'm going to be actually selling my two copies once
Yeah.
once we launch. Now I'm going to sell them for an exorbitant amount of money, so I don't know if people are going to go for it. But the idea is to bring value to your work.
Yeah.
In that being said, because
Cool.
this is my art. As much as everybody sees me making the image that then becomes
Yeah.
the cover, this is my art. This is what I
Exactly.
really
Yeah.
go for in the way of feeling as a sense
Oh
of
yeah.
I'm done or completed and everything.
Yeah.
So
Dude,
with
and it, and
that,
it shows. It shows. Yeah.
thank you. So yeah, when you get a chance, go ahead and date that. Now I was thinking,
Okay.
should we
Hmm.
be should I be signing yours as well? Because I have an artist proof copy of each, but I don't know. I might actually
Yeah.
get, if I ever run into you in the physical realm
Oh yeah,
of like a
we will.
convention, I might actually get you to sign my copy, and so
I'll have mine with
that'll
me, and yeah,
even increase it value
yeah,
more.
yeah. That's what we'll do. Instead of like mailing it back and forth,
Yeah, let's because
we'll wait for that time. Yeah,
yeah, because I
it's
mean,
gonna
as this
happen.
project's yeah, exactly. I mean, as this project moves along, I think the only contributing guest artist I have that I'm gonna have to really save my pennies and nickels would be to go visit Drawn Sword in New Zealand. So,
Oh yeah, dude, that'd be awesome
but
going there.
but so let's jump right
Excuse me.
into it. Do you have
Okay.
any places specifically you want to get to and ask questions or give feedback on, or do you want to just kind of go through
Um.
in a
Well, I'll go
flipping kind
through.
of way?
I have like a little sheet that I wrote stuff down
Okay,
on.
great. Thank you.
But I'm gonna be frank with you. I didn't finish the prose. I'm in chapter 5, right? But
That's okay. That's
I'm gonna
okay.
start. I'm gonna start there actually. Okay. I'm
Oh,
gonna
you want to get over
start
there?
at the
Okay.
prose.
Okay.
So it reads like an authentic pulp sword and sorcery.
Whoa.
Oh my God. It is, yeah, it's badass. There was only one what do you call it? One word that was misspelled, I think, that
Okay.
I saw,
Did,
right?
what
But
did you
maybe you
say?
already caught on to it. I don't know. I mean, where it's I think it's page 11. Go to page
Okay.
11. And maybe I wasn't. Let's just go to page 11. Okay. It says, let's see, where it talks about some guys going through a throng, right? A throng. Let me see. I didn't want to highlight it. I don't want to mark this book up.
Oh, that's all
Um,
right. Post-its are
let's
always
see.
handy.
I know it's page 11. But it says. Oh, here it is. It says a voice. Okay, let's skip all that. Cast cattlemen and into a thick throng of rug merchants from Stig. So is it supposed to be throng?
All right, hold on. Where are you at here?
Yeah. Page 11. I'm on the
Okay. Oh yeah,
to
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
left.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thong or
Yeah.
throng. I'll have to check. Now, I have to give a
Okay.
majority of this pulp feel to Garner F. Fox because the original pulp
Okay.
was from 53, yeah, 1953 Planet Stories
Yeah.
called The Warlock of Shardor. And when I read it, I was
Mm.
completely knocked off my socks because it read like a sword and sorcery. It just had this really
Yeah.
wonky, weird, sign in the post positive of weird fantasy
Yeah.
science. So like unimaginable,
Okay.
unreal science, and I just converted it to more medieval style magic and sorcery,
Yeah.
and then injected characters from Crom, obviously, and the past
Yeah.
into this story. So,
Nice. Nice.
but
Let's
so I
see.
had to double check. The thing is, the thong might be something in reference to the rug itself, but I'll definitely verify
Okay.
that. So
Okay.
thank you. Yep, yep.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because I mean, like reading pulps from bygone eras, I do run into some
Yeah.
words where I'm like, what in the
Oh yeah.
world? So,
Yep, yep, yep.
it might just be that.
Thank
Um,
God for Google.
let's see.
Because a lot of times too, I need to
Right.
I need to Google the entire sentence. So I need the sentence. I need that
Yeah.
word in context, and then it'll say, "Oh yeah, in the 1930s they used to use this as a slang word to describe
Yeah.
cigarettes,
There you go.
or
Yeah.
something like that." You're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll
Exactly.
just update it to cigarettes.
Yeah. 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 Okay, let's see. So, like I said, I didn't finish but that's the only thing that kind of stood out to me from the
Okay.
page. But dude, like I like how you put the images in the middle because I know like some books they have it where the whole page is the image, right? And
Right.
then you have
Right.
your prose on like the left or right. But I like it that
Yep.
the most of them are in the middle. I mean,
Yeah, I had
uh,
kind of like end. I wanted these. These are actually from the first version of the story that I then updated to be in the
yeah.
same feeling. But the reason is I don't even indicate anything about this image. So when you jump onto this page and you go, oh, okay,
Mhm.
this dude's holding a crystal. Then you
Yeah.
read this, you find the context of who's holding the crystal
Yes. Yeah.
and what the
Yeah.
crystal means. Then when you read this, you're like, well, who's this short-looking fella? And then you read
Yeah.
this and you go, oh, okay. It's kind
Yeah.
of spoiled here because it is Hammer and Black Eyed. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. I mean,
that was one of that. That was really what I wanted to have in the way of
yeah.
like,
No, I think it works. It works really well. You're
all right,
reading the
thank you.
story, and like you said, as you come upon that scene, there's the image. And
Yeah, this is a fun.
yeah, that's pretty sick. Is that image right there? Is it like scratchboard?
No, it
The
is and
dragon?
it isn't. So what this is a technique that I
Hmm.
use often. I do a pen, so everything you see in white, I've
Yeah.
drawn in black. So this was
Oh,
all
damn.
drawn in
Okay.
black. Then just in Photoshop, I invert it
Hmm. Oh,
and
sick.
it
Dang.
gives this scratchboard feel. So
Dude, yeah,
and
that
obviously
looks,
since it's black, I also
yeah.
wanted that cosmic
Oh,
feeling
yeah.
as well. I've done
Dude,
that a
that is
lot.
great.
I actually have a project I just ran across in a folder going, damn, I got to do this again,
Yeah.
where it's an old pulp magazine illustration, which I'm doing the same thing. I got about a third of the way in, and when I scanned it and checked it out, oh boy, it's cool because I'm not using pen as the predominant. I'm using color pencil and white gouache.
Ah, okay. Nice.
Yeah, so I'll have to show that off once I get that done. But
Yeah.
yeah, so
All right. So yeah, I mean, um,
so you said you're at part 5.
yeah, I'm at part
Right.
five.
That was you're at okay, so you're
Mhm.
at part 5, which means you still have another 12 pages. And
Yeah.
like I've been telling everybody, the flow of this book is chronological. So
Hmm.
this section is called Transforming CROM, which is it's kind of like 5 pieces of Crom's life, is what I've been
Yeah.
thinking lately. And this is the middle section, obviously. So the third one,
Hmm.
there's something that happens at the end, which at the very end causes Crom to have a transformative experience. Let's just leave it at
Yeah.
that because I don't
Yeah.
want to ruin anything. Because it is,
Exactly.
even as you read it, it's gonna feel open ended. Which, if you're into sword and sorcery, you're gonna have a great time with it because. In order to help us get Crom to the dark godlike status, this is what I'm kind of depending on to help launch that. Then the Gardner Fox and John Junta and Jack Katz, that's the adventurous Crom. So these would just be all of those silly adventures.
Okay. Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
just it has very little rhyme or reasoning maybe to his
Yeah.
development. And then I had gone and done, I call them the primitive years. It's
Yeah.
time. It's the time where he's developing into Chrome. So he's
Yeah.
becoming, like a teenager growing into their own self identity. So this is youthful Chrome.
Yeah. So I want to say something about this page right here. The youthful Crom.
Okay.
Dude, when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, like I gotta see that picture. without it being, you know,
Ah.
and I was like, man, I wish he would have done. But then I was like, wait a minute, he did this for a purpose, right? There's a
Purpose, yeah.
purpose. You
Well,
know,
for that
it's like
purpose,
the
it's exactly the purpose you're experiencing right now, which is I want to see the real thing. So
yeah, I
when you
want to see
do
that
end up,
page, dude.
that's in color pencil. That was an alternate cover for these pages when they were ballpoint pen, when I released them
Okay.
as a comic book before I put them together with the Crom.
Oh,
So before this, all of
yeah. Mm-hmm.
these pages were in comic book 7x10 format. So I was
Oh,
making a
okay.
cover for them, and I made this one, and I don't know, it was a difficult placing of the Crom logo and some of the
Yeah.
information. Then
Oh,
I
I
actually
see. Yeah.
I ended up doing a version of the sacrifice as a
Mm-hmm.
cover. So there's a larger version as the cover for that and everything.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's fun, and that's a pull from a Ernie Chan a pinup that
Okay. I don't. I'm
in
not familiar with.
in that's in Savage Sword of Conan, or no, Conan the
Yeah.
Barbarian. I think this is in Conan the Barbarian. So I just kind
Yeah.
of did my own riff off of it.
Cool. And I was gonna say like your updated Crom, you know, claiming Skullbiter. Uh,
Yep.
it's a lot more atmospheric. I was comparing, you know, the artwork on your revised and
Right.
the last one you sent me, and dude, yeah,
Yep.
it's more atmospheric. It's stronger. Yeah, I mean you even have like some like it glows at some points. I don't even know how the hell you
Yeah.
did that. like like the friggin' helmet's
Sorcery, my
glowing on there, you
friend.
know? Right there.
Sorcery.
Like, holy shit.
Oh, so you know what? The first compliment I got from Adam Dodds was
Yeah.
this panel. And let me just
Okay.
tell
Yeah.
you, out of let's say the top three panels, I had to see how the reproduction went. I
Yeah.
just nailed
Oh
it with
yeah.
this.
Dude, yeah.
This is all rendered, but then what I did is I hand cut a rough piece of mask, like a paper mask. Like I printed it out
Mm,
on cardstock, that
yeah.
section, and then I blasted it with white spray paint.
Oh dang. Okay.
Yep, yep. And
Jeez.
then what it did
So
is it just totally took down the edges and made it
yeah.
just like that, like it's like the sun's right behind them. And I do that, I think, 2 or 3 times. There's one with the
Yeah.
queen here. Yep. I do it over here. Oh, I did it even
Yeah.
here. Now this I was a little disappointed, but I know why, because
Mm,
I intentionally left this all light. So there's not enough
yeah.
contrast and dark in the figure
Oh,
to
that's right.
get
Yeah.
that kind of impact.
Yeah. It
So
still looks
no
kind of
taken.
misty, you know? It
Oh yeah,
looks
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
misty.
Like hot.
Where yeah, yeah. Yeah, steamy. And
Yeah,
where
steamy.
these, you know, it looks like where these it looks like it's like you know, light in the background.
Right.
But dude, at
Right.
first I thought you did that like with Photoshop or something. I was like, man, like I don't even know how to do that with Photoshop. But yeah, I
No,
thought
no Photoshop.
those were
No
great.
Photoshop at all.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, dude.
Yeah. The only
Props to
Photoshop
you
I
on that.
do. Yeah, the only thing photoshopped I can say is the white text. So
Okay. Yeah.
that would have been difficult. And then I just wanted it to be over the top of whatever I darkened. Because sometimes you can kind of see through the dark to something
Yeah.
on the other side. So yeah.
Also, like I was touch on this. I really love how like you zoom into a panel on a page, and graphically, you know, I always like that when they do that in comics. I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, you do that throughout,
The
you
large
know,
ones.
several. Yeah, the large ones.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because
That's pretty cool. I like that.
you get to see the dot matrix.
Yes.
The zip or the Bende dots.
Yeah. And then we have a. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Um, the design of the book, I thought it was pretty awesome. You know, This might be a short video because I have
No, it's okay.
no
It's
negatives.
okay. No, we
I got
don't.
no
We don't need.
negatives, you know?
We don't need. No, you. I'm already catching things as I'm going through. To be honest with
Yeah.
you, I haven't gone through this yet with a fine tooth comb. Like I'm already
Okay.
finding. Like every time I sit down with you guys, I do find
Yeah.
something where I'm like, is that me or the printing? Like I'm like,
Oh, okay.
just
Yeah.
because I'm going to go through and almost every page I'll probably have something where I just kind of have to rescan
Yeah.
everything and then get it into the page. But there's so many things that are making me just go, oh wow, yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of does hit. That does kind of hit right there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
here's another. This was another one with the white spray paint.
Yeah. Actually, I think I missed this one. This is pretty awesome.
This
With the snake with this
sacrifice.
big ass serpent. It's adventure. It's the page with the adventurous Crom, like the beginning of it. It has the big old
Yeah, that's
serpent.
a yeah, that's a really that's a wonky drawing. As a matter of fact, I was a part of a group called One Fantastic Week, and every
Yeah.
Tuesday these two fantasy artists they were emerging fantasy artists, younger than me, um, were meeting, and they were talking about their week, and they were talking about stuff, and then they were inviting uh, industry figureheads, people that were
Yeah.
I would say quasi famous or recognizable as fantasy artists. And they had one guy on where they were asking people to submit in the comments on the Facebook group, I think,
Yeah.
and this guy, I think it was Dan DeSantis, and DeSantis, and
Yeah.
he picked mine. I was right. I was the first right out of the gate, and
Nice.
he tore to shreds. He just
Oh my
tore it to
God.
shreds, and I loved it. And I have to repeat over and over again. I love critiques. I love
Yeah.
really cutting things up, and I'm not even. I'm
Mhm.
even talking about the level of like questioning me, like
Yeah.
why did you make this decision? And sometimes I'll be
Mhm.
like, well, I just shot in the dark. I was like,
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
anything premeditated or anything. It was just me
No. Yeah.
thinking, boom, and I kind of liked it and I left it alone. Or it would be, no, I really thought, and this is what I went. You're missing it. Maybe you want to try this. Oh, great
Yeah.
idea. And then you get a thing. And I think that's a very
Yeah.
powerful way to learn, even when you're an established
Yeah.
artist. God forbid you get to a place where nobody wants to tell you or ask you how you did
Right.
something, or
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
tell you you're a little too crazy.
I mean that's good that you're open to that because like some artists might not be. They might get discouraged or whatever. It all depends on the
Right?
person, I guess. But it's always a good thing to be open to the critiques. So I mean, you just get better with that, right?
You
You
can do
you're
nothing but get better based on your mistakes. You'll never get better
yeah.
on your successes. You can't rest on your laurels and go, oh, look, I nail it. I nail it when I
Yeah.
draw this. I nail it when, I met a guy. I met a guy
Yeah.
years ago. And it was I had put together kind of like a regional comic book artists get
Yeah.
together in my area, um, and it was going swimmingly well, And we were just,
Hmm.
and then there's one fella who, maybe my age, maybe
Yeah.
just a couple years younger, maybe my age. And we were showing work, showing our work and stuff. And I'm thinking, and he started telling me who he'd like worked for. And I was like, oh, I worked with those guys. And I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. He's like, yeah, I did a little bit of this. I was like, yeah, the same thing was happening to me. And then he goes, yeah,
Yeah.
then I took my portfolio to Neil Adams and he tore me to shred. And I went to just work as a printer. I was
Oh
like,
my
what?
God, dude.
I was like, oh my
That
God, really?
sucks.
He's like, yeah, I was devastated. And it's only been like the last couple of years where
Yeah.
um, I wanted to get back to it. But Neil Adams, he he's murderous. I actually just watched a couple
Yeah.
of YouTube. I don't want to say interviews. It's just him drawing, and oh
Yeah.
my lord, he is just no filters. And then he thinks he has a sense of humor. He's like, oh, what? He's like, he'll say something, and then he'll go, well, what's wrong with the room? Like, why isn't
Yeah.
anybody laughing? That was a joke. But what he was saying, you're like, wow, that's murderous, man. Like, there's
Yeah.
no black and white, or it is black and white. You know, it's like, it's this
Yeah.
way and not that way. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah. Speaking of, no, go ahead.
There, just real quickly though, right? There's a Gil Kane interview that was supposed to
Yeah.
be in a. It's on YouTube and it's supposed to be on a in a documentary, and it never surfaced. But he says, "quote unquote," inkers are parasites. All penciling
Oh,
artists should
damn.
ink their works. I was like, "Damn, Gil."
Oh man.
Never been called
Jeez.
a parasite before,
It's
but hey,
pretty
there's
pretty
always a price
savage.
tag. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say like speaking of Neil Adams, I saw this video, you've probably seen it too. It's Mobius, Neil Adams, and I wanna say it's what's his name?
Oh, tick a
Uh
tock, tick a tock.
Tick Tock. No, it's
It's a black
well
and
they're
white.
drawing. No, they're
Yeah,
like
it's
drawing.
a
Maybe
French.
it is.
It's a
Okay, yes,
French.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, tick
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
tock. Yeah, yeah. Oh
Yeah,
God,
and
I go ahead,
dude, it's awesome. So they're just
dude.
like shooting from the hip, right? On this big old sheet of paper.
Amazing,
It's like, holy cow.
amazing, amazing. I said something to somebody before IC3. I think it was Matt King,
Yeah.
and or no, it was Adam Lemma. And I don't think Adam got to go to IC3.
Mm,
And when we interviewed him for the Turbo Indie Comic Exchange,
yeah.
um, he was like, he brought up, I think, that same episode. Because you got
Okay.
Mobius and Neil Adams in the same room drawing on the same
Yeah.
piece of
Is it
paper.
Joe Kuber
He's like,
also? I think it's Joe Kuber,
yes, yeah, isn't that
right?
freaking crazy?
When I saw that, I was
And
blown
some
away because
other
those, yeah.
French, yeah, but they were like, they should start doing that at Comic Cons where
Oh
famous
yeah, that'd be
artists
awesome.
stay, and they should record it. Paul
Yeah,
Pope
that'd be,
does one. There's a Paul Pope one they did in New York, and
yeah,
he's like the biggest guy in the room. I don't even know who the other people are, but they have a
yeah,
really good fun time doing that. That's some
yeah,
good
that's
energy.
sick. Yeah. Um, and I guess, I really like how you put this back here with all the guest
Well, great.
artists.
I was just going to go to there because that's a great segue out of here.
Yeah,
Because I cannot thank you and all the contributing artists. And like I had said before, I really want to work with other people. You know, the the place in indie comics that I'm having us
yeah,
wander around in, it's not the most profitable places or sought out and everything, but I really do feel the attention that we can get for one another, and this is
yeah,
where I have QR codes throughout the entire book, so this goes to your Instagram page. Matter of fact, let me show off. So
mm,
each, I have 5 guest artists, and each artist gets a virgin cover. And this is David Molina's virgin cover. When I release the book for a month in sales, that first month of sales, they will have their covers that will be offered. But once the release date of an entire month is over, these will no longer be published by me, printed by me. The compensation for the guest artists, based on the success of the release month, I will be sending copies of their virgin covers. So if I'm ever contacted and someone says, "Hey man, I really like your CROM Collected revised edition in 2024, but I really like the David Molina cover. Do you have any?" He says it's
yeah,
sold out. How do I get a copy, bro? And I say, "Hey, you have to go to David Molina." So, and then of course you could charge him double for the cover, because it's David Molina
yeah,
cover and everything.
yeah,
But that's once again another intricate piece that I'm trying to play into this to help, drive attention and create a connectivity, and value to that.
yeah.
So David Molina,
Cool.
Jason Schoonover, who also gets a special
Awesome.
end paper inside. So he had a double page
Oh, sick.
spread for
Yeah.
his. So,
Awesome.
obviously I couldn't do it in the back, so
Yeah.
I gave him the end paper.
That's cool.
Drawn sword.
Nice.
And this is just, I can't wait to have more and more of his work in the
Yeah, it's really
upcoming
awesome.
CROM anthology. He's working hard on it's Scoundrel's Dread collection
Nice.
art book right now. So he said he had to wait at least 2 weeks, I think, before he could come on and share his questions and feedback for me. But
Yeah.
Drawn Sword, once again,
Oh, and I like.
you can
Oh,
get
go
his,
ahead.
what's it?
You're not done yet. Yeah.
And Ken Landgraf, got a Ken
Laying graph.
Landgraf masterpiece here. Also looking forward to
Nice.
getting him to play with us in the CROM anthology. So this is super exciting. And then Adam Dodds. So
Adam Dawes. Yeah.
everybody has a 2-page spread, which I gave. Like
Yeah. Sick.
something like really close up detail to see their work, especially for Adam because his doodly
Oh
gobbly
yeah.
goop, but just all of this
I
wonderful
was I was in
texture
there trying to decipher
inking.
some stuff. It's just awesome.
Yeah, it's magnificent. Of course, you have Jason Ken Landgraf. You can get straight to his Instagram. Drawn Sword. If you're not following these individuals already, just type their names into Google or whatever search engine you're using, or wait till you purchase a copy and then you can scan their QR code and
There
get
you
to
go.
them.
Yeah.
So,
And
but
then you got
like I,
in the back you got that turbo pit fighter, right?
so
Bam.
I gave a little get a little love to Jake and I. We do
Heck yeah.
Turbo Pit Fighter every Sunday. And work side by side on the camera. I do the inks, he does the pencils, and we map out these stories. I'm inking pages for issue 1. We have Turbo Teaser number 2 is about a week away from being printed. So
Oh, sick.
that's going to be out there, so we can get them back out to other indie creators. So for the indie creator exchange. But the other thing I wanted to bring up was in here is an open call for collaboration. So as I've been yammering on and on and on about properly compensating and getting people to work with me on this. I call it like a savage sort of Conan meets heavy metal when in the like 70s, early 80s years when it was all
Yeah.
experimentation. So I'm hoping what will also come along is other individuals like the ones that I've shown off art for. So this is just a little kind of a brief overview on what I'm looking for, and the bigger part of it is the community, is building
Yeah.
a community, because I think in these days I very much believe this is that you know there's so much stuff out there, and a lot of it is fantastic and awesome, and we have so much little time. But there's breaths that we want to take, and I know for myself, I'm always looking forward to digging back into my old black and whites, my savage swords, and my heavy metals. But
Yeah.
I'm really looking for the CROM anthology to be something where let me go back and check this out, or the CROM anthology 16 is out. Let me grab that,
Yeah.
and then have
Okay.
your whole stack of books, and then be able to go through and then check out what Jason's doing, what Drawn Sword's doing, what Ken Landgraf's doing, what David Molina's doing. So this is just the beginning, David, and I am once again so happy I reached out to you. Even
Yeah.
happier that you said yes to play around with CROM and come up with this
Yeah.
fantastic pin up. And of course, you and I are working on it's a 6-pager, tentatively called The Last Dryad, based on a
Yes, sir.
1960s pulp story called The Last Druid by Joseph Kellum. And
Yes.
We've hacked out a real good idea of the layouts. David Molina is going to handle the pencils, the laying out. He'll scan those and get them to me, and I'll do the inks. And
Yeah.
then I'm also looking, after I've done the inks, for David to do his version of the inks from there. So the community is a lot less about let me publish you and more about let's play in a sandbox together.
There you go. Yeah.
And, we'll share, ownership of said work.
Cool.
But I'm also going to be tooting a little horn called the variant horn, which is, I still to this day, there's two things that drive me absolutely nuts: people's work from the past and them not wanting to go back and dig into those files and revamp and just play around and have fun with those old comic stories they had.
Yeah.
But another version of it, a variant version of a story that might have been 20 years old, or like I did, um, my my pages, just for clarity's sake, my pages at the beginning of this is a variant version. Let's see, we get this here. A variant version from these pages.
Yeah.
So you can already see, I started adding sound effects, obviously the gray and the thing. I even, there's just a lot more to learning
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
deepening who you are as a creative when you really look at your work. I'm actually going to work on some pages I've already reworked once before. So I'm going to
Mm.
do a third revision on some
Oh,
pages
wow.
I did back in 2016 of pages that I did in the mid 90s, sword and sorcery stuff.
Sick. Yeah.
So,
No way.
I really want to toot the horn, get people excited, get them making comics as well as buying them. So,
Yeah.
and that's what
Yeah.
this is all going to be about. And then I do want to just make a real, if you're looking at both, you know, uh, David and I's camera, and you see these pages are a little gray and yellow, they're supposed to be. I printed
Yeah.
this on a cream color paper, but I put a 10% newsprint down
Mm.
over the top of these pages. So I've almost eliminated completely crisp white to crisp white. Well, I have, because there is no crisp white, even if I didn't do the layer of the newsprint,
Yeah.
because I wanted to have that real old vintage comic feeling. And I kind of
Yeah.
have to say I made it.
No, yeah,
I'm
you hit
I'm
it on the nail.
really
Yeah.
I'm really satisfied because my darks are dark enough to keep. There are a couple areas where I know I'm going to have to go a little darker to get my lights to come forward, but very few. So that is that.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
So with that being said, David, is there anything that you want to give these people on the way out here this morning or this evening?
No, just once this comes out, hopefully August 1st, man, get yourself a copy. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yep.
awesome. It's
I
jam
also want to
packed.
plug. I want to plug something for you. David Molina's Instagram will be in the description. Go to his Instagram, follow him. He does some of his warm up paneling page stuff is just baffling in the most
Thanks.
inspirational way. So I always look forward to seeing whatever you're putting up
Yeah.
in the feed. But other
Well,
than
thanks for
that,
that, Kurt.
you're welcome. And once again, thank you for being a part of this. And look forward to working with you on our comic book project for the CROM anthology. And we'll let these people
Yes,
get
sir.
back to reading comics, making them if they choose.
Alrighty. Take care, Kurt. Thanks for having me.